Great, beautiful, blessed morning, y'all. This morning, it's actually the afternoon. Great, beautiful, blessed afternoon. It is Monday, June 1st. Can you believe it? We've made it to June. How did we make it through Lupus Awareness Month? I don't even know. It's amazing to see you here. If y'all would have even known the way that my guest and I thought today, you would tell all your friends that we made it, okay? So I'm going to need all of y'all to share this right now. Share it right now. Don't wait. Tell all your friends, tell your friends, tell your mama, your daddy, and your uncle and your cousins, okay? We have quite a show ahead of us. Let me make sure that y'all can see me. Please let me know that you see me. I should be on Facebook. I should be on YouTube. I should be on Instagram. Hold on. Let me not lie to you. I should be on Instagram in exactly 1 second. You know, technology, we've been arguing all day. I know I'm right, but it's telling me that it's right. So hold on, let me redo this so we can all see us on Instagram. Yes. So right now, thank you, Facebook. I see you. Let me know who sees me. And if you do not know me, if you've never seen me before, hi, I'm Tenille, and I guide people through reclaiming their identity and designing a full life, even after diagnosis. So yes, I'm live everywhere. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for letting me know. You're amazing. You are amazing. Hey, Anthony from Washington, D.C. We see you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so get into it. It's about to be the show, okay? We starting out June immaculately, okay? Because we have a powerhouse in the building, okay? Do you know, like, when you see people walking around, maybe an office you're in, or like, you know, a program you're in. For me, it's a network marketing company. We out here, and I see her, and I'm like, wow, she's really like everything. You know, like, you're like, one day I'm gonna be just like her. I'm gonna do things just the way she does it. And little did I know that she has an insane story. Last month was Lupus Awareness Month and Suicide Prevention Month. I heard her story before, but it didn't register to me that the trauma that could come with this and the questions that I had about this. I've actually lost a few people to suicide, and I hadn't even thought about connecting with other people who have as well. And I thought that this lady was too big time to ever be on my show, but look at God. Look what we can get done, okay? Because we connected over this past month, and holy cow, she's here. She is here. She is a mother. She's a 2-time bodybuilding, not even bodybuilding, swimsuit competition winner. She is a mother and a wife, a hottie, just naturally, and then also she is ranked up in every company we've been in because she's phenomenal. So please welcome, be on your best behavior, don't embarrass me. Welcome to the stage, Amanda Meyer.
Hi, Tenille.
Okay, are you there? Do you see me?
I can see you. Can you see and hear me?
Yes, we can. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
For being here. So Amanda, please, I know that I know you, but anybody else who doesn't know you, please introduce yourself to the audience. Who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. Hot. Yes, I'm a hot mess. So this will be a very transparent, raw conversation that we're going to be having today. But yes, Amanda Meyer. I live in Greenville, South Carolina. Supermom. My daughter just finished up her first year at College of Charleston, so she's home with me for the summer. 2-time pro fitness competitor for bikini fitness. Did that I got into working out for my mental health more than anything. And then challenged myself to be the best version of myself. So that was fun. My daughter and I are throwing around some ideas for next year. I'll be 50 in August, so I think we're going to do a competition together. It'll be her first next year. What else? Yeah, former educator.
What?
Yeah, I'm still an educator, just not in the classroom setting. I taught 2nd and 4th grade. I had the opportunity in the last several years to become a #1 best-selling author, which was a phenomenal opportunity to be able to just share living life on purpose and finding your purpose, and talked about Logan and all the aftermath that came along with it. So I've had a lot of great opportunities to just touch lives around the world and still be that educator, just not in the classroom setting.
Okay. So many things. In the intro, I'm like, wait. First of all, first and foremost is, I just want to say, 2 children and almost 50. I thought good black don't crack, but I don't understand. What do you do? Like, how? What? That's crazy.
Thank you.
When you said college age daughter, I was like, oh, she must have had her at 10. Like, how? What? How? Compute with me. That's crazy. Whatever. Like, teach us all of this, all of that. Thank you very much.
I love it. Thank you.
So now, I know your story a little, but please take us back. Like, you're here. Like, we want to talk about what happened to Logan and like how that all went. Like, could you run us through like that day? Like, how old was he again?
He is forever 16. He was about 16 and a half. Yeah.
Okay. So you have a 16-year-old son and things are fine as far as you know. You wake up that day and then what happens?
Oh gosh. So loaded question there. So I'll have to go back a little bit just so people have some context. I didn't go back to school till I was 32. I bartended, waited tables, managed nightclubs, modeled in Miami, always wore the hat of many. I was never a 9-to-5 kind of person. Got my degree as a non-traditional student. I was a single mom at the time, and I had 2 kids, and I was going to school at Clemson. I transferred to Clemson. Thought it was incredible to be able to go to a major university at the age of 35. Graduated in May of 2013 and loved the teaching part. Just didn't realize that it was packed with all the things they didn't prepare you for. The BS, the politics, the data, the paperwork, the bureaucracy, the bullying from administration. And my mental health started to suffer. And I knew that putting in 25 more years of teaching was going to literally put me in the grave. And it wasn't the teaching part that I disliked. It was all the things I just rambled off.
Yeah.
I was introduced to direct sales, network marketing, relationship marketing, I like to call it, 10 years ago. And the headspace I was in at the time was I was broke, like financially broke. I mean, I'm living in South Carolina. You're literally living on poverty pay when it comes to teacher pay. I think we started off at 25. I made more money bartending, worked less hours, and didn't have to ask permission to pee.
Wow.
I was, I was just so beaten up emotionally and mentally being in that environment. It really was not the healthiest environment in that school system that I was in. So I was time broke, couldn't keep my head above water. I was financially broke because I wasn't making much money and I had no experience in the industry. So I had all this self-doubt. I had the self-doubt channel just turned way high in my head. But what I did know was I was sick and tired of basing every decision in my life off time and money. What I did know that I was meant for something bigger. What I did know was that I deserved more out of life. And I didn't like the headspace I was in because I've always been the life of the party, like to have fun, like to be the center of attention, but not in an arrogant, egotistical way. I just like making people laugh. And my spirit was just diminished. So when the timing of it came, I've learned in the last 10 years that you can be in the right place at the right time, but you have to recognize that you're in the right place at the right time. And my husband that I was married to put the pen in my hand with the application with my friend that introduced the idea to me and said, hey, you should just go for it. This is what you've been praying for.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we don't realize the opportunity is knocking on the door because the self-doubt channels turned up so high. But fast forward, I ended up jumping all in with the opportunity. It was a different type of travel club at the time. And I just had fun. I felt like it was a way for me to kind of go back to my roots as far as like who I was as an individual and truly wanting to live life fully and have other people live life and have experiences all around the world. And add a little more fun and money. Never heard the word fun and money uttered in the same sentence. That was legal until I came across this industry. But all that to say that it's been such a blessing in disguise. And it allowed me to walk away from a very toxic environment. 25 years early, I had enough success where it did replace my teaching income and allowed me to have a little more time with my family and get my mental health back, to where I wasn't dry heaving over a toilet every morning, wondering what I'm going to do or not do, right or wrong.
Teaching is a calling. Like, there's no way. Like, girl, I know so many teachers, and it's just like, you get treated crazy, and the people don't even realize that, like, you have to ask permission to pee. You're responsible for these people's kids, and they're complaining about it the whole time. And like, your principal is like, whatever, and the coworker, like, it's a lot. You were doing
like, oh gosh, it must be the parents. No, I had wonderful parents. I loved the community. I love my parents. I love my students. It was all the other administrative stuff that came along with it. Nice. And you're not making a whole lot of money. I was making enough money to barely keep my head above water. So then you add insult to injury. But like I said, it was a blessing in disguise. And I do believe in the butterfly effect. If you change one minor detail in your life, it changes everything. And I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. All the good, bad, and ugly didn't define who I was as a person. It built character and taught me life lessons along the way, along with people. People have taught me life lessons along the way. And through this journey, I've learned to love people from a distance, because you kind of have to do that to protect your own space and your own mental health. Mm-hmm. But I had a ton of success with the first company, and I felt like I was on top of the world in that moment. God will humble you very quickly. And my daughter was 12 at the time. My son was 16, and my husband at the time and I had a trip planned to go over to Prague and enjoy Europe a little bit. And then one of my best friends lived in the Netherlands at the time. So we took a short flight over from Prague to the Netherlands. So we left our kids with a trusted family friend who I still love and adore, and I'm still friends with to this day. She's more like family. Mm-hmm. Her daughter was actually one of my second graders. So, hey, do you mind just staying at the house with the two kids? My two kids, your two kids, like one big happy family while we're gone. I'll pay you to take care of the house. They're self-sufficient. I just need someone to make sure that the house doesn't catch fire and no one tries to break in, and they know how to make their own lunch and get themselves off to school. So I say all that because I would have never left to go to the grocery store, let alone 4,000 miles away, if I thought something was wrong with living.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's the thing. You never know. Like, even, leaving your kids, human beings that you birthed yourself. Like, I grew these from seed. Like, I would never imagine that you would think anything is wrong at all in order to go anywhere. Like, that, like, when my mom thinks that I'm upset, I'm almost in a headlock. She's like, "Are you okay?"
Like,
so that.
Well, I love you said she asked if you're okay, because that's the three most powerful words you tell somebody. Are you okay? Like, you say, "How are you?" You can answer that 5,000 different ways. When people ask me, "How are you?" I do my best, because that's all you can do. It can always be worse, but it can always be better. So that's all we can do is our best. And so we obviously didn't know that Logan had some suicidal thoughts going on, and he told her that he had to leave to go get some school supplies, and I would have let him leave the house to go get some school supplies. It's the end of the year, so maybe he had an end of the year project.
Right.
And he ended up, gosh, this is really heavy, so it may be tough for some people to hear it, but
trigger warning. When I repost it, I will tell trigger warning. But yeah,
it's super heavy. Logan's story is super heavy, but I tell it because, one, it gives me healing, and two, because I want people to know that it's okay to not be okay. And it's, if you were to sit here and tell me you had diabetes or Crohn's disease or cancer or any other type of thyroid issue, I have a thyroid issue. Like, you talked about, you've got lupus. My mom has lupus and rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, like all these things. We're not afraid to say, I've got chronic headaches, I got chronic fatigue. But why are we so embarrassed to say that, I struggle mentally, I have anxiety, I suffer with bouts of depression? Like, we're all, excuse my French, am I allowed to cuss on here?
Do what you need. Express yourself.
David Goggins. He's a retired Navy SEAL. He says, we're all a little fucked up. We're all fucked up. Mm-hmm. There's just different levels of fucked upness.
Right.
And I've always said we're all broken, but the broken crayons still color. And we lead through these rose-colored glasses on social media, especially. And we think that everybody's got it all together. We think that everybody is living a better life than us when we're all trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like, I called you before this podcast, not to cancel, but to give you a heads up that one, I'm rolling in hot. I packed in way more than I anticipated this morning before the Zoom. And I look like I've been crying all morning because I have been. I have no makeup on. My hair was in a clip. I literally just took it down. But I thought, how appropriate. Like, I want to look presentable, but why am I going to put on this facade of having the perfect makeup and the hair, and just so I can talk about how it's okay to not be okay, but then show up like I'm pretending okay?
First of all,
I'm not okay. I've had a really shitty freaking morning, and I'm going to make it a better day, but I've had a really shitty morning, and we're talking about showing up. And we're talking about being the best version of yourself. And sometimes the best version of yourself is showing up, breathing, existing through life, getting through that next moment, even if you have no makeup on and you look like a hot mess. So
yeah. And to be fair, your hot mess is some other people's dream look. So I'm like, you called to warn me. And I was like, that's exactly why you're on my show. That's exactly why I called you, because I know so many people who would cancel, have canceled. And me, I'm on the internet every single day in my bonnet and a robe. I come as I am. I've been on camera in a hospital bed, and it's so important for people to know that you do not have to look perfect, do not have to act perfect in order to send the perfect message. People need to hear you exactly as you are, feeling a mess and still being able to articulate, like, this cause means more to me than looking how I think I look perfect on any screen. It's amazing and so impressive to be like not feeling all the way yourself inside, but projecting this smile that you have and this presence that you have that just is so warm and nurturing. And you can tell that you like are passionate about the things you speak about. That's a huge thing that people are afraid to show. Like, even if they do care, they don't want to care too much. Or even like you said, people are depressed or whatever. Like, I'm diagnosed depressed, and like, I never show up that way. Like, and if I do, I'm honest about it. Like, I couldn't pull it together today, guys, but here I am. So I'm really, really proud of you. And I think you should be really, really proud of yourself. And y'all tell her in the comments how proud you are, because we're proud of her.
Well, the smile is genuine. You've got such great energy, and I love surrounding myself around people that will lift you up. And what I love about the community that you and I are in the industry that we're in, is that these are people who will truly rally around you on your lowest of low days. But then on the flip side of that comment, they will celebrate you on your highest of high days and your biggest achievements, and celebrate you with no comparison or competition. There's no they genuinely just want to see you winning in life and thriving, not just surviving, but thriving.
Right.
So that's what I love about our community. But yeah, the whole Logan thing, we obviously didn't see it coming. There's too many I'm open about it, but there's too many details to really run through the entire evening and how it fell apart. But in a nutshell, one of Logan's friends called me, and first I was woke up in the middle of the night because we were 6 hours ahead. So about 2:10 in the morning, Europe time, I was woken up to my phone buzzing, and it was my son's speech and debate coach from high school. And I thought, okay, either he butt dialed me or he didn't realize that I was 6 hours ahead. And so I ignored it. And I think I literally dozed back off for a second, and the phone was ringing again. And it was one of my son's friends. And she had said, Logan is on the train tracks and he's trying to kill himself. That was literally his words. Logan's on the train tracks. He's trying to kill himself. And I just kind of sat up very quickly like a dummy doll. And I was like, what? And I said, has anybody called the police yet? And she said, no, we're out here looking for him. And very calmly, I just said, okay, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to call the police. So I punched my husband in the back abruptly, woke him up, not carefully. And the same words, just bluntly, like, Logan's on the train tracks and he's trying to kill himself. And he jumps up. He's like, what? Same reaction. Like, what? And I'm like, what the F do we do? You can't just call 911. We're in Europe.
Right.
I don't know if it's the powers that be, God, the universe, the energy, or whatever, but something told me in that moment, you have the non-emergency police department phone number on your phone. So I called, and very calmly, I just said, my name is Amanda Meyer. My husband and I are in, Europe right now. Our son, Logan Jones, is apparently on the train tracks trying to take his life, and I need someone out there quickly. So they ended up obviously taking the call very seriously. Lots of details unraveled from there. They shut the tracks down. And after many hours and a radius, half the police force and 2 German shepherds out looking for him, they had reason to believe that he left the premise, that someone picked him up. And when I finally got a hold of someone again, I said, he's still out there. He's got really good friends that I love and adore and that I trust. And I know someone would have called me by now.
Yeah.
If you turn those tracks on, you've pretty much sealed my son's death.
Wow.
And he said, we've already done it. And he waited for that next train to come by. So.
Oh my God. Okay. This, like, I feel physical pain. Like, hearing that story.
It's being cold. Like, it was a chilly May. It was May 14th, 2019. It was still kind of chilly in the evenings. He didn't like to be cold. He didn't like to exert energy. He doesn't like pain. He was hurting so badly emotionally and mentally that you obviously have to be out of your mind to do something that he did. Here's what I want to clear up for people, for anybody that might have any misconceptions of mental health or suicide. What I have learned is the people who die by suicide really don't want to die. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
They've either lost their purpose in life, or they feel like they have no purpose in life. And they truly believe that they are doing a disservice breathing the same air as you and I.
Mm-hmm.
You've never met Logan, but I know you know that's not true. And some people, I should say, think that suicide is a very selfish thing to do, because what they see is the aftermath. They see the ripple effect, and in a very negative way. It's selfless. It's such an impulsive, selfless act. And I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying that it's okay to go out in life like that. I'm just wanting people to understand the darkness that, and I can't speak for someone who's been suicidal, because there's days where I don't feel like living anymore, or didn't feel like living anymore, but I have not been in a suicidal mindset. So I can only imagine the darkness and the demons that they're battling on a daily basis. What I'm simply trying to say is that it's a battle that they have to deal with every day. Even on days that are good days, they're still battling the same demons every day. And so when you're asking someone if they're okay, there's really only 2 ways to answer that question. It's a yes or no answer. And if I were to say to you, hey, Tenille, you just seem off lately and you don't seem like yourself. Have you been thinking about hurting yourself? That's a very bold question to ask. The stigma attached to suicide is that people, again, I can't say people, some people think that I'm putting that idea in someone's head. The idea was already there. The goal is to talk about it and extract it out of your head, to get you talking so you don't feel that shame. A lot of people feel the shame, like something's wrong with them. And that's why they're embarrassed to talk about it. But if I were to just make it easier for you by saying, hey, Tenille, are you okay? And you don't seem okay. And I'm like, well, you just seem like you haven't been yourself lately. Have you been thinking about hurting yourself at all? Or just asking someone, have you thought about suicide? It's such a tough question to ask, but it's a real question to ask. And I promise you are not putting the idea in someone's head. They want to talk about it. So, at the end of the day, it was a boo-boo in my kid's head that I couldn't fix. When we're parents, for anybody that's a parent out there, we do our best to protect our children from the outside world. Hold my hand. We're in a parking lot. Look both ways when you're crossing a street. Wear a helmet when you're riding a bike, even though I grew up in the 80s and I would never wear a helmet. Don't text and drive. Don't talk to strangers. All the things, we're teaching them all these important things because we're protecting them from that outside world so they don't get hurt physically, right? Mm-hmm. But not one time did I ever think as a parent to protect my child from themselves.
Right.
This is something you don't think about. You hear
that. Yeah. That is a quote. So Do I want to even do this? Okay, so I would love to talk about that. So as a person who's been there, it's not necessarily an everyday battle, right? It's definitely not. And like the courage that it takes to actually go through with it it's literally like 1 second of courage, just like anybody else doing anything else, like something hard for you, right? And
it's impulsive.
It's impulsive. So you could even, once you start having plans to do it, I feel like that would be the question. Like, is there a plan? Do you have like an idea over like, what is it that you are thinking? Because
sorry to cut you, but short here, but Logan didn't even have a plan.
Yeah.
They got his phone and went back to all his searches through web. Like they were able to go, you think you have it deleted, but the cops can go back and look at your web searches, and he didn't start searching anything until the day before.
Yeah, exactly. But see, that was his day of extreme courage. See, for y'all who don't know the personality colors test, I'm gonna put it up there so y'all can take it. But I'm a blue yellow, right? So like impulse, I also have ADHD. So I'm very impulsive, but then I think about how it's going to affect other people, right? So if ever I've had these thoughts, and even I've thought, it's a very quick, like, I could do this and it would be done. I could do that and it would be done. And like, even before I had chronic illness and that kind of stuff, like I've thought it during this time as well, but like, even before that, it's been a quick, like, oh, I could just do this. And the things that have stopped me is remembering how it would affect the people around me.
Yeah.
Even I tell this story a lot, that I was laying flat on my back in a hospital bed. I was there 3 months and everything hurt. And all I wanted was for the pain to leave. I didn't realize at the time that I was praying to die. Like I didn't realize until I heard my mother and a family friend of ours from Jamaica pacing the outside of my hospital room, screaming, praying, yelling at God. Like, how could you do this? This is their only child. And I, at that moment, really wanted to hug my mother, hug the family friend and be like, I'm okay. Like, I'll fight. Like, I'll stay. Like, I'm not going to leave. Like, I promise. And I realized I couldn't lift my own body to reach out to my family, and that they were going through so much more pain than the physical pain that I was going through, that I switched my prayer. I immediately was like, oh, if I do this, that's what's gonna do to them. Like I can't do that to them. And that's what stopped me, like, from sinking into that depression and that pain. And it's done it to me over and over, that like, whenever I think like I can leave this planet, like, no, you better fight, because people are fighting for you. And they don't have no backup children, not one single solitary backup child. And like the ripple effect that you produce when you do everything, right? Is way more than you could even comprehend. Logan made a decision that day that has affected millions of people, I'm sure, because
it made a profound impact in a positive and negative way. Yeah.
Yes. The people who meet Amanda today, the people who meet his family today, are all affected by what happened that day. And it was an impulse, and he was a teenager, and he, like, brain not even fully developed.
Yeah, I was about to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. In his mind, nothing could get better,
right,
for whatever the reason. So this story, pay attention, share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with people on the random internet, because you need to understand that if you are feeling this way, this is not the last feeling you're going to have, right? This is not the end of the road, no matter how bad it can be. You could be on your knees right now. And I'm telling you, you can get up. You can get better. You can.
Yep. So first of all, thank you for sharing your heart with me and with everyone here. I mean, it does take a certain level of courage and vulnerability. And thank you for creating the platform to do so. And I'm so sorry that you are and have gone through things like that. And I'm grateful that you brought up the whole brain development thing, because that was one of the things I was going to discuss, is that, well, first of all, I I don't walk around thinking I'm exempt from bad things happening to me in life. We're all human. I know we think we're invincible when we're younger, but we're all human. But you don't think it will happen to you. You hear about it happening to other people until it hits home.
Right.
So since Logan's passing, I've been so open about his story because I was reactive. I want people to be proactive, not reactive.
Right.
And if I could save one family from going through what we went through, then I had to find a way to turn my pain into purpose. Not everybody can do that. I mean, some people are justified to go into a dark rabbit hole. I knew I couldn't because I had another daughter, and I had 3 bonus children that, you know, needed us. And there were times where I would have loved to have fallen off the grid, but just knew I couldn't. I mean, technically I could have, but I didn't feel like I had that choice.
Right.
When it comes to brain development, I said I'm going to be 50. So I know with my developed brain that if I were to drive down I-85 at 90 miles an hour and jerk the wheel, I'm a goner. And then I can go down that dark rabbit hole of the if-then scenario. As kids, their brains are not fully developed until they're, I think, 25. Like their frontal cortex is not developed until they're 25. And what that means is that they don't have the physical ability to think 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
They just don't. They're not thinking of the ripple effect. Like all the things you said you were able to do. I'm assuming you're over 25.
Yeah. I'm 40, girl. I'm 40. Hello.
You look fantastic. So he just couldn't. And we all know, we've all been teenagers or kids before where we feel like, even let's say someone breaks up with you, you feel like it's the end of the world. And you realize that in 3 months or 3 days or 3 years, that none of it's going to matter. But at that moment, it is the worst thing in the world. And you just want that pain to go away, wherever that pain's coming from. So yeah, he just didn't have that ability to think, if I do this, this is how it's going to affect my family. When I was checking my phone, obviously I saw text messages fluttering through. One was from Logan. He said, "I love you, Mom." We sent a text to his father and said, "I love you, Dad," and sent a text to Mackenzie and said, "I love you, Mackenzie." And his phone was dead after that. So it was really hard for them to ping where he was. They couldn't find him. They really thought that he had just left. And it was, I remember sitting in the room in my friend's house, and it was almost like a movie. Everything just warped, like time almost slowed down in such slow motion that it was almost like it felt so surreal. And to a certain extent, it still feels surreal. It's been 7 years and time's tricky. Some days it feels like yesterday, and the memories are so vivid, even going back and talking about that night, it makes it feel so real. And sometimes it feels like a million years ago. And I am so brutally open about Logan's story and even the gory details if someone wants to hear them, because I feel it's so important to show people that there is no shame in what happens to us in life. You know, they say it's 10% of what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. And I think a lot of people flip that in their heads. I'm grateful to our industry for the personal growth and development, because I think that is a good part of the reason why I've been able to rebound from something so traumatic and tragic. But it doesn't mean that I don't still battle. You know, you talked about, social media and how we live through this lens of rose-colored glasses and we think everybody's got it all together. I didn't air out my dirty laundry, but there were times where I've done Facebook Lives, and I don't do them often. I can count on one hand how many times I've done it, where I was literally hysterically crying in the gym parking lot. Yeah. Like, sobbing to where I couldn't breathe. And I wanted people to see that version of me, because I didn't want people to think, oh, she's a model and she's got a best-selling book and she's got this and she's got that and she's got it all together. And some days I might, but most of the time I don't. Yeah. And for me, it's all about the mental health, and it is about being proactive, and it is about teaching people the signs and the stigmas. But 4 out of 5 people do not, or 4 out of 5 people statistically show clear warning signs. 20% don't. And I don't believe that we'll ever fully be able to stop suicide. However, if we can normalize the conversations like you and I are having right now, we're not having a cringeworthy conversation, and those who want to hear the message will, then it gives people permission to have those conversations. And maybe, just maybe, we can slow those numbers down to where it becomes a normal conversation, like lupus and Crohn's disease and diabetes and things like that. There's no embarrassment, shame. I don't think it's a reflection on me as a parent. I was blamed for Logan's death by a few people. that if I had been there for my kid physically, or in the same state, he would
Girl,
survive. Yeah, that was a family member who said that.
I'll fight them. Stop
There was
it.
another
That's so crazy.
there was
Like,
another family member that blamed me for my son's death at his funeral. I don't know how evil you have to be to do that, but yeah.
the way that I would have drop kicked someone in the middle of your son's funeral is outrageous. Like, the way that people are at war at moms is crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter like what you do. That your son was a whole human being of his own. You could have strapped him down. It's like if he wanted to, he would in every circumstance.
If it wasn't that, it would have been in college, or it would have been if his wife left him and cleared out the bank account. It would have been. I think he would have just lost his battle at some point in time. I wanted to hang on to him longer. It's just unnatural to lose a child. Let me articulate this thought. Let me pause for a moment so I can articulate this thought correctly. Being a parent doesn't come with an instruction manual.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been a kid before. So there's that understanding there. Oh God, my squirrels are so bad. I get so distracted. I had a thought. What were we just talking about?
You're talking about that you couldn't have stopped him. It's not a reflection on your parenting.
Yeah, thank you. I hated that they blamed me because I knew in my heart it was not my fault. I do suffer from survivor's guilt, and I think I will to the end of time.
Right.
Because it goes against the natural order of things.
Yep.
Like none of us are promised tomorrow, and I can't understand why we lose people at an earlier age than people have lost kids at an earlier age than Logan.
Right.
I haven't lost a parent, so I don't know what that feeling is like. I'm not going to pretend to. But what I do know is that there was nothing I could have done or didn't do that would have changed the outcome. At the end of the day, it was Logan's decision. Even if it was an impulsive one, it was Logan's decision. So in my heart of hearts, I know it wasn't my fault. But it hurt. Like, how do you kick someone while they're down? I can't wrap my mind around that because that's not who I am. So I've learned to somehow take a step back and rationalize as best as I can why people do what they do. For example, I was already hurting and I didn't want anybody to feel the way I was feeling. So if that was going to help someone sleep better at night because they were trying to understand the logic on why Logan would do what he did, and they felt like because me as a parent, I did X, Y, and Z or didn't do X, Y, and Z was the cause of it, then I can't control what they think and do.
Right.
At the end of the day, I know I've laid my head on my pillow with a clear conscience, knowing I wasn't the best parent in the world. Wouldn't give myself a first place trophy.
Right.
But I loved him hard, and I gave him unconditional love, and I gave him tough love. We ran a structured household, but we showed up at every baseball game, and I sang to him as he went to sleep and read 2 books at night. Like I did the best I could as a parent, and
right.
The outcome is what it is. But if I can help others talk about mental health with their kids, because I know I've had so many parents that have come to me that I know and don't know saying, Logan's story helped me have a dialogue with my kid. Because of Logan's story, because of your vulnerability, I've been able to get my kid the help they need. Mm-hmm. That is the whole purpose of why I do what I do.
Right.
And there's stories I haven't even heard yet. Right. So it's not even about me getting credit or needing the validation. It's genuinely about wanting to shed some sort of light on a topic that is so dark that can truly happen to any of us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another reason I don't wear makeup today. I knew I'd cry it off.
Well, like I was saying, like the fact that it took this long for you to cry is miraculous, because that's also like the reason that I talk about lupus stuff and the hard stuff. I haven't ever said this, what I just talked about before. But I talk about all this stuff because it needs to be normalized that we speak about this. And the more you specifically, you as whoever you are, talk about your struggles, the easier it will get. And like, yeah, I lost my dad. I was 30 and he was 50. And I will always not think that's enough time. But he sat next to my hospital bed and he told me, this is not right. You're going to need to outlive me. Mm-hmm. And I made him a promise He was very like, I'm very serious. This is not the order that we're supposed to go out, and I'm gonna need you to survive this. And I said, yes, Daddy. And I sure did. And that is an unnatural thing to go through, to lose your child at any age. I know my grandmother right now, she lost a child. My uncle passed away when I was in my 20s, and she was devastated. She has 6 children, and to lose a child is something that no one should ever have to go through. It should be the order that you came in, you go out. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just how it is. But to be someone who went through that, and to be able to articulate the way you do, and be able to have this conversation at all, much less on the internet, where all people are going to see it, is miraculous. This is insane, in the most beautiful way. And I know that you are helping somebody that you will maybe never meet right now in this moment. So thank you again for
Thank you. It takes one domino to tip the rest. So if it helps even just one person, that's the goal. So thank you for that. Yeah.
So now I'm still in my head, like, I would be so violent to somebody who said anything to you negatively when you get home and you are bearing your child.
I've had to learn to forgive. That was the last thing that I had to learn to let go, was forgiving. I think that's where some of that loving people from a distance comes in. It got to the point where I had to protect my own mental health. I preached mental health all the time, and mine was suffocating. Mine was struggling. There's been so many, oh gosh, what's the ripple effect, things that have happened since then, good, bad, and ugly.
Right.
My marriage took a beating.
How did you come back? Okay, so how much time passed before you could go forward and talk about this kind of stuff? How long was it before? Because it hasn't been that long. 2019 was the other day.
I don't know, because that whole first year was such a fog for me. I think I've just been open from the start about it. I don't know. And people think that grief is like a 5-stage thing and you're done. And actually, I read a book where it says the 5 stages of grief were meant for the living, meant for the dying, not the living.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that makes sense. Bargaining, it was meant for the person who was going through the death process with, let's say, cancer. They're bargaining and they're angry and they're depressed and they get accept. It was actually meant for the person who was dying.
Right.
But even if it was meant, or there was some correlation and parallels for people who survived a loss, you don't go through 5 stages and then graduate and you're like, okay, I'm good now. You go back and forth. It's never ending. You learn how to carry the grief differently. You learn how to carry the weight. The storyline changes a little bit because of course I'm not, grieving like I was on day one or even the first year, but I'm going to be grieving the rest of my life.
100%.
Some days I can talk without crying, and some days I can't even say Logan's name without losing it. And it's a never-ending process. It's not a 5-stage thing and you're done.
Right.
We were just at our event together in Denver, and it was Logan's death date that weekend.
Yes. And you know what's crazy? Cassie, if you're watching, I know you watch sometimes, lost her firstborn daughter the same weekend. And it so happened that you were in the room, and so happened that she won a vacation from our company. It's just nothing is happening on accident. For you to be in the room when things like that are going on is what are the odds? What are the odds? And it wasn't the same circumstance, but to just be a parent having a heart for another parent who lost a child is just, she needed that to be the situation.
I think life and death have a design, and we're just not meant to figure it out.
Right.
We think we understand it, but we're not meant to figure it out. My sister asked me a very profound question shortly after Logan died. She said, if you knew you were only going to have 16 and a half years with Logan, would you do anything differently? And I said, no, I would do it all over again. I've been divorced multiple times. I literally would live my life exactly the way I did it, because I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, even if it's not my final destination. I wouldn't change one thing, because it's that butterfly effect. It changes everything in your past and your future. And everybody says everything happens for a reason until something traumatic or tragic happens. And then it's a harder pill to swallow. But I do believe everything happens for a reason. And I may not understand the reasoning behind it, but I just have to have a little faith that there's a design, and, there's nothing, I can't control it. So I just have to make the best out of it.
Exactly. Like there is no way. Listen, if anybody knew that they were going to lose somebody, if I knew I was going to lose my dad that day, I would have held on to that man so tight he wouldn't have been able to breathe anyways. I would have been the end of him, because I would be like, no, don't leave me. So it's a good reason that we don't know. It's a good, I can't even imagine. Like, everything happens the way that it happens because it's supposed to happen that way, even if we hate it. And we're just so having the mindset that we have because of the training that we've had. It's such a divine, beautiful protection, because there are people who go through these things and never come back from it.
Yeah.
And you have lived such a gorgeous life. Like, I've been, watching and tracking the stuff that you do from afar because I didn't know you. But you've lived such an incredible life in spite of such gut-wrenching tragedy. It is an honor to be able to watch or to talk to you about this, or to even know your story. It's more than you could know. Like, honestly. So how far into your personal development journey, how long have you been a part of that other network marketing company at the time of Logan's death?
I started in April 16. I left the teaching world in December of 16, and then Logan passed in May of 19. So just about 3 years. Yeah, only 3 years.
Not even that long. And just were you into personal development before you joined that company, or no?
Not really. I was struggling to just get my degree because it took me 5 years and 3 months to get that. I was busy in the books, learning all the things, they don't teach you about personal growth and development in school. They just teach you how to go to school, make really good grades, and go get a really good job. And so my head was in the books, but not the books that were going to give me the self-help that we all need.
Yeah.
Teach you in school. And I want to talk about my daughter for a moment, because she's really the main reason. She's the main reason I didn't crawl into a hole.
Oh, she's little.
She was 12 at the time. She's got so much grit. That girl, man, if I've done one thing right in my life, it was her. Mm-hmm. She started a Minds Matter club in her high school. She is naturally introverted, but has done so gracefully, turning pain into purpose. And I like to think that I was able to lead by example on some of that, but I also allowed her to see me be a hot mess.
Yeah.
I allowed her to see me thrive, and I've let her see me barely surviving. And there's days where she see me crying so hard on the floor that it took my husband scraping me up off the floor. And I've let her see all of me. I've talked to a few parents recently that said, oh, I can't cry for my kids. I can't let them see me lose it. I go, you're doing them a disservice. Let them see you're human.
Right. Exactly.
Fair enough to where you're not in bed all day, every day, but it's okay for them to see you falling apart. These are the life lessons. I want my daughter to fail over and over and over and over again, because if I only teach her success, she's going to think she's a failure when she doesn't achieve it. And we all know you're not going to achieve success without failure over and over and over. Even the gym, you're supposed to train your muscles to failure.
Until failure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It seems counterintuitive, but she's done such a miraculous job of just being the kid she is. She's heard me say it a million times. She's an anomaly of a child. She's an empath, but she's loving and compassionate. And she's turned that pain into purpose and a tragedy into triumph, and has done so many good deeds, and now that she's at the College of Charleston, I love that they have a huge mental health presence there. And she and I have done just a lot of things mental health capacity wise, and has helped us with our healing and our trauma. Some people don't feel that way. I don't want to speak for Logan's father, my ex-husband, who I love and adore. He's a great father and he's a good man, but he has a hard time talking about Logan, and I'm 180 from that. I feel like I have to look at photos all the time. I have to look at videos all the time for me personally, because it allows me to go back in time and focus on when he was here as opposed to him not being here.
Right.
Because about Logan, like right now we're talking about, all I can think about is how Logan's not here anymore.
Right.
When I go back through photos and videos, I almost feel like it gives me a chance to go back in time and just focus on when he was here.
Right. Right. I feel that.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong way to grieve. It's just, you got to do what works for you. And what worked for me is talking about Logan, sharing his story, and
clip that hello. There's no right or wrong way to grieve. You have to do what works for you. Yeah. So don't go around judging anybody else's grief process. We out here tap dancing on all the stages, every single one of them, all of them, all at the same time. Pow, 5, 1, 2. Like it's so legit, and I'm so grateful you said that, because wow, people just have an idea, like you said, like, oh, the 5 steps. You're step number 3. Congratulate. Like, absolutely not. Every time you hear your loved one's name or you see a picture, it might take you to a different place. It's all up to your mental space at the time and the personal development that you have at the time. And I'm so grateful that we get to do this type of personal development in our company and with each other. We have book clubs and we have, meetings all of the time. So
it used to piss me off when people tell me I was strong. I didn't see it as strength. I saw it as survival mode.
Right.
And people still say, and I know they mean well. I don't see it as strength. I see it as maybe courage, which I guess is strength. But there were days where so the first company, I used to preach living, not existing. And I remember thinking to myself, how did I go from living, not existing post to barely existing? Like getting through the day and like getting out of bed and brushing my teeth and literally making it to the end of the day was an accomplishment for me. Beginning. Yeah. And I was existing. Looking back, it was okay for me to be that way. You just got to be careful. There's that fine line of giving yourself enough grace to just be able to exist that day and getting stuck in that rut where you end up not being able to get out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so, so true. People always, they give me that, oh, you're so brave. Like, how did you do it? The choice was I die or I live. I'm gonna pick living. Like that's the choice I'm gonna make. Like, and it's so, like you said, it's so important to let your children see you all the way at the bottom, because then they see you building yourself up to the top, and you've built yourself up to the top over and over and over. And like, it's to be able to say that she's related to somebody who's done this and that and this and this. But I've also seen her down here doing that, and like, oh man, like, it's so important to see the range that you have, like, as a human being. My grandmother said, like, her old people, my great grandmother's going to be 100 at the end of this year. And back then they didn't do like hugging and kissing and like loving on their kids. Like, and my grandmother made it a point to be very affectionate to all of us the way that she wished she had been. And like, everyone's learning from, grandma always says, children learn what they see, not what you tell them to do. So do what you say you want them to do. And your daughter's doing that right now. Like, even though she's introvert, like,
their kids are watching. Yeah, your kids are watching. My kids have seen me laugh. They see me cry. They see me thrive. They see me fail. They see me succeed. They saw me walk stage at Clemson University with honors when I never felt book smart. I never felt book smart my whole life. Yeah. I graduated with honors, and they saw me walk stage at a major university at 37 years old, and they saw me start a new career, and they saw me leave a career that wasn't serving me well. And it just, there's no shame in any of it. Brene Brown is one of my favorite speakers, and she talks about vulnerability and shame and all the things. And I love her for that, because she's normalizing the conversations worldwide on every topic. I hate what happened to me, but it doesn't define me. It doesn't speak to my integrity or my character and who I am as a person. All I can do is be the best version of myself. And if I keep doing the right thing long enough, the right people will come into my life, and the ones who aren't can find the door.
Boom. Drop that mic. Okay. Yes. Like, this has been such an amazing podcast. Like, we haven't even, there's so many millions of other things to talk about, like layered. Even when I approached you, I'm like, do we want to talk about Logan or do we want to talk about your mom? Like, what are we doing? Because there's so many things. Like, man, we could do a part 2, maybe part 3. I don't know. But I'm gonna say, to wrap this up, even though we talked about so many things in the span of this hour, if somebody walked in and they didn't hear any of this podcast, and you want to leave them with one nugget that they can take to the bank right now, like take it home, they heard nothing else, what would your one nugget be?
Other than it's okay not to be okay, is that you do have purpose in life and that you are enough. Mm-hmm. And you need to surround yourself with the people who believe in you even when you don't. And you're going to quit on you before others do. So just knowing that you are enough. I think a lot of times comparison is the thief of all joy. And I think a lot of times we, not just behind the social media reels, but I think that we just live in a life of comparison. We might be driving down the road and we see a car that's nicer than ours, or someone might be carrying a different handbag that you can afford, or maybe you weren't able to have children and someone else did, and you hate that. Like we need to count our blessings, not our curses. And it's the hardest thing to do.
Clip that. Count your blessings, not your curses. I love that. I've never heard that before.
I've been accused of trying too hard. If I'm friendly to someone, I'm trying too hard. If I'm assertive, I'm a bitch. All I could be is unapologetically me. Maybe we need a part 2.
Yeah, no, we do. We do.
I haven't talked about my marriage struggling. Most marriages fail after a child passes, and my current husband right now, and I have been together almost 17 years. And he basically raised my daughter from the time she was 2, and he was in Logan's life for 10 years. And I'm so grateful. I would do it all over again because the way he helped me raise them. He's such a wonderful man, and didn't see it coming. And I haven't made it Facebook official, and I wasn't even planning on saying anything on this podcast, but we recently separated. Losing a kid takes a toll on your marriage, and I love him deeply. For me personally, my mental health was suffering in so many different ways that I needed to love myself more. And I know a lot of people might find that selfish, but at the end of the day, when you lay your head on your pillow, your conscience is clear, and that what's best for you. Mm-hmm. And he's a wonderful father, and he's a wonderful dad, and we made some wonderful memories in the last 12 years we were married. But I decided to love myself more, and I decided to leave. And we're amicable, and we're friends, and we have a lot of deep love for each other. I was in tears all morning because I heard that there were some nasty character attacks and rumors that were rolling around on me. And I have to remember Mel Robbins' let them theory, because I cannot control what people say, do, and act. I know my conscience is clear, and I know that at the end of the day, I'm going to be the best version of myself, not just for me, but for my daughter. And I know I'm exactly where I need to be, and my story's not over yet. So I'm going to keep blessing it forward in all the different ways that I possibly can. And I'm sitting in gratitude. I guess all that to say, I'm sitting in gratitude for all the good, bad, and ugly that took place in my life. And no one plans on losing a child, and no one marries to end up divorced. But you've got to just focus on you and what's best for you, so you can be the best version of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup.
That is so true. Yeah, guys. I know you guys have been commenting. I'm so sorry. The conversation was good. I don't
see any of the comments, so I'm happy to take a question or two if we have time for that.
Okay, let's do it. I'm looking back. It's a lot of super proud of you, quoting things you said. Yes, we don't know what the folks went through to show up, but they did, and we do. And honestly, it's huge. Hey, Amanda, thank you for showing up despite your current circumstances. This is no reflection on the parents for the actions of their child in this instance. Yes, 100%. people experience grief in different ways. We will still ride at dawn. That's right.
I think I might know who that came from. I have a couple of friends that said they would show up with a bag and a shovel and we would ride it dawn.
No, I'm telling you. Listen, I was like, let me start stretching because I need to fight somebody for Amanda right now. Yeah, you have a lot of comments and less of questions. Anybody have questions? Let me look at Instagram because Instagram, those comments leave. Facebook will have those. Okay. Oh, wow. So raw, so candid, so authentic. I love this. I get tons of value each time. Keep going. My cousin committed suicide back last February. My aunt, his mom, faced so much pain. Thank you so much for your courage, Amanda. I always wondered if my cousin wanted to talk to us more. Oh, wow. Oh, I am so sorry.
Yeah, and that's not your fault. There's nothing that you could have done or didn't do that would have changed the outcome. It was just they were hurting. We all have mental health challenges. I don't even like the word mental illness. Not that there's anything to be ashamed of, but I feel like it's not a 1 in 5 sick. It's a 5 out of 5 of us have mental health challenges every day. And I wish I understood mental health. I'll say this. I wish I understood mental health a little bit more than I did when I was a teacher, because when my second graders would come to me wanting to go to the nurse, I thought it was because they were bored, they didn't want to sit in class, or they just wanted to get out of class. That, you know, they're constantly like, oh, my tummy hurts, my tummy hurts, my tummy hurts. And I never really correlated that maybe their tummy hurts because they have anxiety. Maybe their parents were fighting till 2 a.m. and they got no sleep. Or like, I feel like a lot of times when they complain about their tummy hurting all the time, it might've been that they had anxiety and they didn't know how to say it.
Right. So true.
Around it. So I think all of us, if we can just be a little more compassionate. My favorite quote in the world is, in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Amen.
But that also means to be kind to yourself. I am not kind to myself. If I talk to you or anybody that's listening right now the way I talk to myself, I have zero credibility. You would not be my friend.
Yeah.
So, you know, I preach to the choir, but I'm also preaching to myself when I say those things.
Yeah. This whole thing, it's just like such a therapeutic thing to be talking about all of this stuff openly and, you know, knowing that other people are going through it. Like the people that are commenting, I've known them and I didn't know these things that they are commenting. I'm sure they did not know, because I haven't said on the internet, what I was talking about, my own struggle here. So I know there's moms on here. Ooh, we got some icons on here. We got some heavy hitters on this podcast today. And I want to thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to wrap this up. Amanda, thank you so much for your time. Honestly, like this was such a great episode. We could talk about this kind of stuff forever. Like genuinely, you talk about it with such grace and so like lovingly, and it looks effortless. Like I know it's got to still be heart-wrenching, but it looks so effortless coming from you and honest and real. So
thank you for the platform. Appreciate it.
Sure. Anytime. Like we're gonna schedule another one, girl. Don't think you escaped. We got a lot to talk about, okay? It's the most I've laughed and cried in one podcast. But you guys have a glorious day. Stay happily healed. We will talk to you soon. I'm gonna say it because you're part of the VSA now. So 1, 2, 3, you rock. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Tenille.
Have a great day. Bye.